Morning. It's March 3rd, 8:25 a.m. How you guys doing? I know I had some technical difficulties yesterday. Hopefully they don't happen today. Um, let's get right into the watch list. Okay, what do we have today? We have bonds being bought. Let's see, ES up 0.31, Nasdaq up 0.28, Russell up 0.27, the Dow is up 0.24, dollar down 0.29, VIX down 0.46%, crude's down 0.74%, 10-year yields down 1.67%, hanging on at 4.0, and Bitcoin and Ether are down 4.61%, 4.83%. No surprise with Bitcoin down like that. Coin coin is down 4.41% pre-market. Now we have Tesla, the leader, up 1.67%, followed by Meta and Apple. Okay, and the laggards really are just AMD and Coin. Okay, so what do we have as far as some top sector stocks? Procter and Gamble got an upgrade, and that is up 0.91%. Any laggard to speak of? Costco is the big laggard. I believe they had earnings. Probably had a bad forward guidance, but it's down 2.29%. And looking at the sectors, I wouldn't call that a leader, but it's discretionary. Tesla's the main part of that. Negative wise, semis, not much to speak of. Okay, let's get into that. Some news or some data today. If you're in a day trade, watch out 9:45 and 10 a.m. You got a services PMI. You got ISM, non-manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. So that's going to cause some volatility if you're in some trades at that time. We have some Fed speak today, Bostic and Bowman. So could cause some volatility with comments. So keep an eye on that. Let's go over to the daily chart. Okay, a couple things to note here on the spot chart. All right, so where did we come down to? Where was that low put in? We got 100-day moving average on the SPY here, and we also have the anchored VWAP from the lows right there. Bounced right off of it. No surprise there. So you have some confluence with the 100-day moving average in there. And what's the third confluence? It's the 61.8 retracement. Remember, I was talking about that yesterday. I said if you usually break the 61.8, that's usually breaking the up move, and you're going to start to move down, right? You violate it, you close below it. Well, guess what? You had the anchor VWAP from the lows, you had a 100-day moving average, and you had the 61.8 retracement, the fib. So, you know what? Look at all these red candles, right? A lot of selling, and you get some short covering yesterday. So you took out this day and almost took out this day, but you didn't, right? And where's resistance? Resistance, very interestingly, with this trend line, it's gonna hit the back of this trend line. Okay, and you got your anchored VIA from the all-time highs, as well as your 9 EMA daily. Okay, you just got a web of moving averages. Okay, this is just so much levels, so many important things going on in this area that it's going to be a tough. Once we get out of it, it's going to be a big move, but it's going to be tough. It's just a lot of congestion here. Okay, people using trend lines, people using moving averages, anchored VWAPs, whatever fib levels. That's why I have those things on there, because it's just showing me all the confluence. And we need to resolve this area. But what we do, it's going to be a big move. Okay, but that's what I'm seeing. You can see the moving averages um, a little easier, I think, in this chart. And let me know some feedback if anybody is watching right now about this chart, how you feel it looks with the moving averages. I just want to, I feel like you can see them a little better, but maybe I'm wrong. Um, you got the 100-day here. So that's what we came to. You got your 200-day right there. Um, so just you could just easily see the moving average a little better. But that is that. Now, I can show you one more here. Let's just look at the volume profile of the SPY over the last year, right? So we're at the most traded price of the last year. Now we went above it a little bit in the SPY, but that price is about what is that? 395 about. That's the most traded price of SPY. So see how like this is the most traded price of the last year. That's even causing more of congestion, right? So there's a lot of things that is going on that's causing this market to just slow down. Okay, so that's what we have going on. I wouldn't call this all-out bull rally now. I would just call it a little short covering. You needed that. You're getting short in the hole, short in the hole, short in the hole. You have this important level 393. We couldn't really close below it, and then we bounced, right? And then let's look at the Qs. So if we look at the Qs, we breached the 200-day moving average yesterday. Then we couldn't hold below it, and then we came right up. Now where did we come up to? I keep talking about the 293.47 level, right? This level has been such a pivot level. You got the lows here, you got a resistance, you got support, you got a doji that literally closed on it, then you have it as resistance, and then yesterday it was resistance. So that 293.47 in the Qs is just a monster level, right? Now we're over that right now pre-market. It's like 294.60, so it's about right about here. So we're close to yesterday's highs right now in the pre-market. Okay. Let's see in the Qs where we're at in the profile. You'll see this. Let's see. Now in the Qs, see that? Right at the most traded price of the last year in the Qs. Right there, pretty much. 293 about. 293. So this 293.47 is just a monster level, and it just happens to be the most traded price of the last year. Okay. Alrighty. Let's look at our triple headed 10-year yield. Yesterday we gapped up higher, went all the way to a high of, the high was 4.09. Now we're gapping lower, still holding above this. As long as we hold above in this 4 level, and we can hold in a range here and we eventually move up, that should bring equities down with it, but we have to see. The VIX took a big down move yesterday, bounced off this support 1943. So we're under 20s, so I have to see. Move over 20, maybe get some downside. Fall under 19, like, back under 19s. Maybe go back to here 18. Obviously you might have some upward movement. Let's look at that dollar. Dollar's in a range, just hold in a range. Dollar, okay, bouncing between the 105 and the 104. Okay, let's look at the Dow real quick. Now you can see the Dow is just very different. It's got this huge resistance level of 340, 353, and a huge support level of 326. So like you're in the middle of this range for a long time now. Okay. Remember, Dow's only comprised of 30 stocks. So, and it's the largest holdings: United Healthcare, Goldman Sachs. Okay. Let's see. So let's look at the Russell. Let's look at our small caps. The Russell is in a big range here. To big balancing range. All right. So let's move over to the market profile. Let's look at some levels. You're going to see a lot what I said in the ETFs here, the SPY and the QQQs, the same in that. I'm going to hit you with the watch list real quick. I believe Marvel and Broadcom, what are semis, had differing opinions on, not differing opinions, but different outlooks. But they mentioned AI, so the stock AI is up 18.54% pre-market. So that's something I have my eye on. All right, let's look at what happened yesterday. Now, this is very important. Okay, when we talk about volume profile, I mentioned this yesterday. So this is where volume profile just like is so awesome, in my opinion. All right, so we talked about yesterday. Now, what happened yesterday was, I believe I said if we move this lower, it's a good shot, right, that we can get another leg move lower. But I remember I said this specifically yesterday. I said if we can't move this lower, you're going to go back to old value, right? So what happened? We couldn't move it lower, and it went right back to old close, right at the most traded price of the week, which is 39.85. It closed right on it. So that's how volume profile can make the market predictable. Now, not in every 5 minute, every 2 seconds, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, but the overall macro day, it will resolve itself and give you where it's gonna go. That's what I love about it, because you know I said yesterday, can't establish value lower, you're gonna go back to old value. That's just how it works. All right, now we're in a very interesting area, right? We basically took out, like you could say, you took out the sellers here, not here. Okay, and we're gonna get into the structure of yesterday, which is poor structure. Okay, we got a lot of single prints, we got a spike, a lot of low volume. Okay, a lot of short covering. So we're gonna get into that right now. Now this is the okay. So now we can see this is the 24 hours, right? And you can see the profile's kind of got a nice bell curve to it. Got some excess on the bottom. Okay, most traded prices here. 39.85. We already talked about that. Okay, we are gapping. We're at 4,000, the psychological number. So that's a big round psychological number. And if you notice, okay, this is really a test for the market right now. Really big. This is really important to pay attention to. You got psychological number 4,000. Okay, you have highs over here that have not been breached. So that number is 4,004, 4,003. Just say 4,000. Okay, we're in a supply zone. Okay, there's supply above us as well. Now, I know I talked about the web of moving averages. We don't have to get into that because we already know that. Well, this is the 9 daily EMA. Right here, just hit it. Okay, 50-day moving average right here. So this is a lot of stuff above, but we're a lot of stuff below too. Most trader price of the last year right here. Most trader price of this year here. It's just crazy. Okay, so let's clean it up and let's talk about, we got a little gap higher. Here's yesterday's high, 399,525. Okay, yesterday's low. Now, let's talk about the structure. Let's talk about that structure. So, why did I say poor structure? Right? Notice the emotional buying happened right here, hence the single prints. So all these white boxes is emotional buying. Look at that volume. Look how thin that volume is. See that? So we got our elephant being held up by that toothpick right now. Doesn't mean it has to break. It does not mean that. It just means that there wasn't two-way trade here. It was one way, and it was emotional buying and probably emotional selling from people who had the short cover, who got squeezed. All right. So it's very important to note that. Could it be supportive? It could have. We could, but if it gets tested with volume, people are going to cover. Okay. Now, on top of the single prints, we have a spike. So the spike. So after that was buying was done, we put a spike in. Okay. Base of the spike is here. So this is from Shadow Trader, Peter Reznicek. Taught me a lot about market profile, as well as Josh Schuler from Trade with Profile. Giving the shout out to two of them, taught me a lot. Now in Peter's theories, which I like, he just does a lot of things to base strength on. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? This spike now, it's called spike rules, and how that works is this will gauge the strength of the market. And what I mean by that is price right now within the spike? Nope. So within the spike would be this. No, because price is here, right? So it's not within it. Now within it means strength. This whole area would mean, anywhere in here would mean strength, because we're holding those prices or accepting those prices. Okay. Below the spike, if it was down here, would be weakness. But where are we? We're above the spike. That's showing strength, right? That means the market right now currently is accepting the higher prices. Okay, market's telling us we accept these higher prices. However, there's a very poor structure holding this market up. And it is, I would say, balanced, because we opened here, and you can see we went down here, we explored lower, couldn't find more sellers, and then we came up. So let's look at that. Let's just look at how the price action was overnight. Okay, so we can see we opened here, came down, made a triple bottom, 3974. We have a very poor low here in the overnight. So right here, 3974. So this overnight low is poor. Okay, which just means that multiple people had short bad location, which usually means it's going to get reversed, which it did. And then what do we do? Just rose up, higher low, higher low, higher low, and here we are. So now what I would say is, from these lows, we're 100% net long. I normally go from the settlement, right? Because if you look at settlement, it's basically you're halfway almost. Here's the mid. But now that I know that these shorts, right, came down, now everyone is long from this point on. Okay? So, what does that mean for trades? Because I said all the stuff that's up here, and we just been a nice run, and we are in like a little bit of a short covering rally. See, we're starting to get, we just have a double top here now, too. We have a poor high. So, what I'm looking for right now is a move up. Maybe even, maybe we don't get to the edge of this supply, or maybe we tap the 50-day moving average. And I want to see us come through here, right? And you know, you might, I probably want to break these lows before I do anything, right? Really, that, let me scratch that, right? Because you might get this, and this is a very high risk trade, because you might get this. You might get, as soon as we break those lows, we just start ripping through. But I don't think that's likely. You have these prices here, most traded price of the last year and the most traded price of the week here. So that's going to probably act as it's a wall. This is not easy to cut through. So let's revise that short. And we just broke that poor low right now as I'm speaking. Okay. And like I said, this is going to show us how much strength this is. It really is. Does this have legs? Because over 4,000 and holding it? Okay. We really are at a pivotal point. Okay. So what I would say is this. If we did something like this, I honestly, yeah, you'd want to short this, and it might be a nice short, right? I'd really want to see this cut through the most traded price of the year. I'm not saying it would cut through it like this, but I'm just saying if the market did make its way down, what I'd want to see is us hold. There's a demand zone here. I want to see us hold, and there's a 100-day moving average. I wanted to see us hold, and then if we get weakness, remember, there's triple bottom here. This is if we start to pick up volume. Okay, just remember, from this point on, everyone who was in equities from here on is all long. Just think about that. Everyone's long. Here's the settlement. If you got long in a stock yesterday and it closed here, you're waking up. It's gapping up, right? You might even want to take profit, because in this market you're like, you know what? Let me take profit, right? Which could fuel the move lower, but I want some confirmation. So I need us to go below these levels and hold. And then if the market gets weak, guess what we got? Guess what we got? We got the triple bottom here, and we have single prints. The only thing I don't love about it is the 100-day moving averages here, but if you get some volume, we can rip down. And we can go all the way down to at least the most traded price of yesterday, which is about 39.46. Now a long today, I'd be hesitant on a long, be honest with you, because now we're gapping up, right? But there's so much overhead supply up here. The supply zones, the most traded price of the year is up here. I don't know, we're at 4,000. That's a harder trade for me to want to get long here. Now, it might work because you have these, we're ripping right now. I might even break the supply zone right now, but we have these highs. We have these highs here, so it could fuel the move. And then your next barometer would be 40.24. 40.24 is a big resistance level. That's really, if you want to be conservative, that's kind of where I would look to really just go, all right, this is the test. Right above here, you don't have a lot. See, the volume's thin. Let me make this smaller so you guys can see that. Okay. So just for that long, I can't really get with the longs, to be honest with you. I'm not too intrigued about a long until for me, we'd have to come all the way up here, break all the supply, and then this 4024 is a big resistance level, okay? I would want to retest that and then go long, right? Target the 20-day simple moving average right here. Also have a supply zone here. Now look, why is that? Because the volume's thin up here. You're not going to get a lot of resistance. But that's the only long that I am personally going to look at. Also, a short. The other way, 4024 acts as resistance. It holds, and you start coming back through. That's your short, right? And then what's going to happen? Everybody who's long is going to start to take profit, and you can make a nice swing. Maybe you want to do a swing trade here to see if we can go back down to these lows. Okay. So in summary, right, my short depends on these levels being broken. Right? My long would depend on this level being broken and holding to me to go long. So I get long if this holds and go up here, right? If these levels get taken out and we punch through this level and hold it here, and there's some weakness in the market, I'm going to get short here, target here. Target the end of the single prints and target the most traded price. Right? And then if this resistance holds, we can't move higher and we start to move back down, I might look into a swing to short, to just target here and possibly even go farther. So that's what I'm looking at in the ES and SPY if you're trading that. Okay, hopefully that made sense to everyone. Okay, so let's look at the NASDAQ. Now the NASDAQ came up to some pivotal levels. It's got a lot of levels here. Most traded price of the year, most traded price of the week, most traded price of the rolling. I mean, it's got the mother of all mother levels that like 120, 90, 121, 12,100. I mean, this is just a pivot of all pivots here. Okay, so that's what it did yesterday. It got single prints too. Okay, poor structure. Most traded prices all the way down here. See all that volume down here, right? Okay, so let's look at today. Let's look what's going on now. And is the NQs probably stronger right now than the ES? It's only slightly. Okay, let's look at it. All right, see, we're in the Qs, we're gapping higher. Okay, gapping higher, but we're in supply, and we have a lot of overhead supply here. So the big difference in the Qs is you have this monster pivot level I just talked about around the 120.90, the 121.100, this level. This is the most traded, like I said, it's the most traded price of the year, this year, the rolling year, this week. So it's a monster. This is kind of a tipping point. Like I said, I have a bias more to the downside right now. So for me, you need to prove a lot. There's so much overhead supply in the Nasdaq. It's a little mind-boggling. So I have to really see the Nasdaq work. And what I'm looking at is this level here. This is that big tipping point for me. If we come up, fine, fine. But if we start to go below these levels, ooh, there's some big selling or buying going on right now. I don't know if that's crude or if that's in the indexes, but you probably heard that. So if we come through here and start to push down below this, not good for the buyers. Okay, remember the TNX is down a little bit, but it's over 4%. Okay, and we'll have to see if that comes under here. Man, we're gonna this will have a 1 day rally, maybe even two if we balance today, because that's a big possibility today. We could just chop around in here. We don't have to fall, and we don't have to go crazy up, right? We're still in a range. So I should have said that earlier with the ES. This is very range bound. I mean, can we just skyrocket? Maybe. I mean, we're getting some nice buying here right now. I have I can probably show you that real quick. I think I have 50 lot or 100 lot sizes on the ES. So I know when large lots are hitting the tape. In CL, I think I have it at 30 or 20. That's when I just know that big levels are getting hit the tape. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. Now I can show you that in a second. Let me see here. I can just show you probably what just hit the tape. What you know. Let's just look at it. We'll look at it together really quickly because that was a lot of orders that just went off. Where was that? That might have been. You know what? That was crude. Oh wow, that was crude. Crude just broke down. Let me show you that. Let me show you that in crude. Let me get crude up there. You'll see what I'm talking about. And I just put a straddle on crude, which is probably going to be good for my straddle. So look at that. Look at that move down in crude. I don't know what happened. My something news type in the news, but that just happened in crude. Now, what did I hear? You guys might have even heard it, and hopefully you can see this here. I show you this time in sales here. So right here is crude, and I have it set to I think 30 lot size as a block size. There it is. See those block sizes? That's 76 contracts traded at 76.52. But that's interesting. Those are buys. That's interesting. So you can see 76, 67 lots that were bought. That's interesting. Those are upticks. But the low of day was hit here. So it gives me an L. That means the low. So people actually were buying. That's interesting. So let's see. The selling had to come in. That was probably the selling we heard earlier. Yeah, that's what happened. See, these are aggressive sellers, the pink. And then look at that. A 50 lot seller hit 77.23. Then a 77.05. So those were all, and these are aggressive sellers, the hot pink. And then you had some aggressive buyers come in right here at about 80.56 at the low. See the lows? The low of the day was there, and then these aggressive buyers came in. But that's pretty big move lower. So well, you just hitting. You're not looking at the market. You can aggressive as you're going past the if you're hitting the bid or the ask. Wow, crew just opened. There had to be some news that I didn't see. Something just happened, and I had a straddle on, which is great for my straddle. I can show you very quickly, just real quickly. I mean, crew just opened. Here's what I was talking about. Maybe why I put that straddle on. Yeah, this is just to show you the most traded price of the last year in this week is right here. You can see this big volume spike here. So we were holding here. This is 12-hour candles. I mean 4-hour candles. So we were holding here, and a big move was about to happen. Now we just ran up here. So now this 76.14 level here is very pivotal right now. If you break that for crude, because look, we were in an uptrend here, breaking it now. So there has to be some news I'm missing here. Here it is. Now here it is. UAE has privately pushed OPEC plus to let it produce more oil. There it is. That's a big news catalyst. Oh, that's gonna look good for that straddle. Now that honestly might propel the markets. The markets are actually going higher too right now. And then you notice where crude just went into, right? Went into a demand zone. See how it dipped its toe into a demand zone and found some buyers? All right. I gotta get to look at this crude. Um, there's the plan for today. Let's see. The market did bust out of that. Crude getting hit so hard like that is probably actually helping the market because that's gonna, the CPI numbers and inflation. So, all right. Give me a comment, like, or subscribe. I will update later. Hope you guys learned something from today. Um, Stay green, stay patient, have a good weekend, and hopefully I can see something of note later. All right, guys, take it easy.